welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, November 3rd. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Perlo in the house, ready to break down the Monday NHL slate. 4 games on tap on this Monday. Of course, we start a little bit later, right after my college football show ends on Mondays, which just ended a few minutes ago. But we're here now. We're ready to break down this Monday with 4 games on tap. Just briefly with the games we saw yesterday, Tampa Bay 4-2 against the Utah Mammoth yesterday, handing the Utah Mammoth a very rare home loss, their first home loss of the season. Jonas Johansson continues to be a nice story for Tampa. He's played well when he's gotten the net, and he did so once again yesterday, helping the Lightning to that 4-2 win. The Islanders with a 3-2 win against the Jackets. They deserved that win. Give Merzlikins credit. He played very well, kept the Jackets in it, but the Islanders were the better team, deserved that victory. Matthew Schaefer, another outstanding game. How good is he in the post-game interviews, too? What a full of charisma and energy, that kid, and playing just awesome so far this season on the ice in his rookie year. The Calgary Flames finally get a victory. They beat Philadelphia. This is another one where they outplayed Philadelphia. It was a really poor game from the Flyers, one of the few that they've had this season. But the Flames still not scoring a ton, but they scored enough, and they get the 2-1 win against the Flyers. Anaheim, which was a late ad. If you're a Patreon member, you would have seen this. We were waiting to see who the what the goaltending matchup was going to be. Once I saw it was Dostal, not Mrazek, I really liked getting Anaheim at a home underdog price against a New Jersey team that was kind of feeling good about themselves after beating LA the night before. And very good win for the Anaheim Ducks. They continue to make Alex and I and anyone else that thought they'd be a better team look smart so far this year. They get the 4-1 win there in that game against New Jersey last night. And then Detroit, 3-2 in a shootout over the San Jose Sharks last night. Don't hit the over by Fekta. Unfortunately, in that game, it was actually a game where both teams, it started off very slow, and then I thought the pace picked up second period, third period. Detroit certainly got stronger as the game went on. They outshot San Jose double in the last 2 periods combined. The game went to overtime and then eventually the shootout where the Red Wings got the 3-2 win. Not the best betting day. It was not a card I loved anyway yesterday, but like I said, still hope for a little bit better than what we got. But nevertheless, on to Monday it is. Alex, any thoughts from what we saw yesterday?
Yeah, no, not really much to add. Like I said, it was the card where I kind of wish I went even lighter than I did. It wasn't the best of cards, and it wasn't a high scoring day. That's not even to say that it was just a low event games. Never mind that. Okay, that's in cash. We didn't get some of the overs we were looking at and that forth, but just some of the games weren't that exciting. And we talked about it in a little bit yesterday in the chat as the show was starting about how Sundays can be kind of tricky, kind of weird. We've definitely seen that, I'd say, the last couple of Sundays so far to start the year. So maybe that's a trend. Maybe, like people say Fridays get weird, Freaky Friday, and they go a little light on Fridays. I might go a little light on some of these Sundays moving forward.
No doubt. Perlo, anything that stuck out to you yesterday?
It was one of those days where my overall picks were not the best as far as sides and totals, but my big plays, like I loved Florida yesterday. Especially when I found out that Marchand was going to play. You go out and do something like he did for his friend like that, and you come back, you think those guys are going to lose against anyone. So I love that play, and I had a lot on it. I also, like we talked about the New Jersey play, I was all over that, had a lot on that as well. It was just a perfect spot for New Jersey. Besides that, I went against my gut on the Calgary game because I thought Calgary's going to drain it today. So I took the draw, but I ended up missing out on that. But for the most part, I did fantastic as far as money is concerned. But if you were to look at my overall card, you'd say, oh, Perlo didn't have a great day. But my shot props were really good. I really highly recommend taking a look at Terry right now. They're giving you at a beautiful price for his shots at -113. I had a ton on that. I have Roslovic is hitting his shots over all the time. And I had a ton on that as well. And I went with the hot hand in Kurashev in San Jose for a bunch for his 1.5 was like minus 128 or something like that. So I smoked that. But besides that, like I said, if you looked over my overall card, it wasn't great. But my top picks where I had lots of units on hit. So I was up about 2.5, 3 units. But overall, the day was good. It was good.
All right, good stuff. Well, hopefully it's a good Monday. And we will begin with it's on Monday. It's only on Prime. It's a Amazon Prime Monday night hockey spectacle to begin. Pittsburgh and Toronto, your Monday night game on Amazon Prime. We've got the Leafs minus 180 home favorites. The total here sitting at 6.5 across the board here in this game. The Leafs, I didn't necessarily think this was going to be the case, but I think one of the surprising things about doing my research and work on this game overnight and into this morning was just how many overs the Leafs have been involved in this year. 8-2 to the 10-2 to the over. In fact, this season, that was not what I was expecting from the Leafs this year. But then you start to think about it, and it does make sense. You know, this is a team that defensively hasn't been great. Had to play without Tanev. Got Tanev back. Did play a good defensive game in that 5-2 win against Philadelphia on Saturday, only to see Christopher Tanev laid out on the ice and taken off the ice on a stretcher, and now he's out for who knows how long now. So just when you start to get some semblance of traction defensively and you get your best defenseman back, your most important shutdown defenseman back, out he goes again, and he's out indefinitely. And you wonder if this Leaf defense is going to be as good, and you do worry about that a little bit here moving forward. That being said, Pittsburgh, they've now lost 2 of their last 3. They've alternated wins and losses since beating Florida. They lose to Columbus, beat St. Louis, lose to Philly, beat Minnesota, lose to Winnipeg over the weekend. We'll see how this game plays out, obviously, here in Toronto. But, you know, we all have that sense that the other shoe is going to drop for the Penguins, and they're going to start losing some games, and they're going to start to regress, and they're going to start to come back down to earth a little bit. Are we starting to see signs of that right now? I think there's some potential of that, no question. We're going to see Tristan Jarry get the start in net for the Penguins. Anthony Stolarz for the Leafs, who again has had his ups and downs. He's got a negative goal saved above average on the season, which indicates how much of a struggle it's been for him. I'm going to go with a split bet here of over 6.5 and Toronto team total, because I like Toronto. I want to back Toronto, but just not at this price here in this game. But I think I will back their over 3.5 here to be able to find the back of the net 4 times here in this game, which I think they've got the potential to do. Again, the one thing you notice about the Penguins is we still think this is a very much below average defensive team. And Winnipeg kind of showed you why we thought that, putting 5 goals past them the other Saturday afternoon in the game against the Jets. So I'm going to go with that Toronto team total over, but also the full game over 6.5. And again, another thing to point out too, Penguins Leafs last season, 2 of the 3 meetings went over the total between these 2 teams as well. 3 of the last 5 have gone over in the series history between them as well. Alex, what do you think here, Penguins Leafs?
I'm going to try and wait and grab a 6 instead of a 6.5, but to protect myself, I will bet pregame first period goal in the first 5 minutes. I got plus 148 on that at FanDuel.
Yeah, Crosby, as Robert says in the chat, to score, he seems to always give the Leafs fits, Crosby, and him scoring in Toronto would not be, much of a surprise to me. So that's a goal prop. I can get behind that. I could see that happening. Perlo, what are you liking here? Penguins Leafs.
Yeah, when I took Columbus in the last game before, that they played Columbus and then they played Philly, I said that Coach Berube said they were going to have a bonding time before they played Philadelphia, which is why I like Toronto against Philadelphia. And that bonding time seemed to work. They seem to be playing for each other a lot more right now. And I think it carries over here. I like Toronto as well. It just feels like that Winnipeg loss to Pittsburgh. When I watched that game, it was the first time I saw them hang their heads a bit in Pittsburgh. And you start hanging your head, and now you're going into Toronto and you're trying to get back up again. I think they're starting to feel it here. That defense has been playing great, but it's been playing over their head, and they've been playing on the road for a while. I think it's a breakdown here. I like that team total over 3.5 as well. I'm also going to take the Leafs money line and over 4.5 a minus 114. I think Pittsburgh will get at least a goal or two here. Stolarz hasn't been all that great, and like you said, Crosby will probably pop one. They will be up for this game, so they'll probably score. I also like the Leafs for the very reason I said. I think they were a little down. Pittsburgh was a little down after that Winnipeg. That was sort of like a measuring stick game for them. It was the one real big win they've had, or real big team they played, and it didn't go well. And I think the confidence will be a little bit down here to start. So I'm going to take the Leafs minus 0.5 first period, plus 150 as well. Tavares has been going over shots a lot. It's juicy, but I like it. Nyes has been getting assists like crazy now that he's back up with Matthews, so I got him for an assist. I'm going to go back. One of the things that happened with this bonding thing is I think Robertson felt like he was part of the team. I got that impression from him. So I'm going to take him to score a goal again. He's kind of gotten on a bit of a run. Nylander's back. He's always good for an assist. And I also think Matthews is going to like this challenge against Crosby today, and he's going to get over his 3.5 shots.
Ian, you muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you got to ride the hot hand that is Nick Robertson. Not only is he back in the lineup again, he scored in back-to-back games for the Leafs. He's on the top line to start this game tonight with Matthews and Nyes. It's got the potential to be a solid line. But, Nick Robertson brings this, if he's skating and he's bringing that compete on the puck, which he's capable of, doesn't always show it consistency-wise, but he's capable of it. He can be very good, right-wing member of that top line, and he scored in back-to-back games. I love that prop with Robertson. I also like Cowan. Now that Easton Cowan finally gets on the board with his first NHL goal the other night, you could see it start to get going for him a little bit as far as seeing the puck go in. So Easton Cowan, momentum. I always say this: a guy's struggling to find the back of the net, and he finally does. Sometimes that's the time you start backing their props to score moving forward. For the Penguins, Crosby, of course, I wouldn't rule that out for sure. Hollander with Crosby and Rust, there's probably some value as well. Maybe look towards a guy as well like Anthony Mantha with Malkin. There's been some decent chemistry tonight with those two players as well. All right, Vancouver, Nashville. We've got Nashville minus 120 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Calgary, obviously. I took a shot with them just because Nashville favored. Here's the thing. I lean Vancouver here. They're just so bloody banged up still. When you look at it. The good news is Brock Besser is at least going to suit up, but there's still no Connor Garland. There's still no Hedel, Bluger, Forbert, Hoglander, Lekaramaki. There's still a very banged up, battered team right now. We'll have to see, too, who's in net, because at the last I checked, unless there's been an update at Goalie Post or Daily Faceoff, I don't think we have confirmations yet. Projections that it's Demko versus Saros, but I don't believe we have confirmations as of yet. I have the mildest of leans to Vancouver. You won't see me at any point this year taking Nashville as a favorite. I will tell you that right now. I'm not laying anything with Nashville whenever they're favored, but I do have a little bit of caution getting myself behind Vancouver here with all these injuries. And when Minnesota's playing as poorly as they are, and they put a 5-2 victory on the board against this Vancouver team, tells you maybe Vancouver's not the most trustworthy entity right now either. So this is probably a game I may stay off completely. Alex, what do you think? Canucks Predators.
Yeah, this is a pass for me. It is confirmed that it's Thatcher Demko and UC Saros. We have confirmations on everybody in that, by the way. Right. So that's Jari Stolarz in the Pittsburgh-Toronto game, Calvin Pickard and Bennington confirmed in Edmonton, St. Louis, Soderblom, DeCord in Chicago, Seattle. But this is a pass of the 3 games, or 4 games, I should say, tonight. The other 3 I have plays in. So.
No doubt. And Nashville, at least, they've been awful on the road. They are actually 4-4 at home. So of Nashville's 5 wins, 4 of them have been at home. So they've been a little bit better here on home ice. I'm not involved in side and total in this game, but the prop-wise, Matthew Wood scored the last game. Evangelista's up with the top line. So those two present some value. We probably have to bet Kiefer Sherwood until proven otherwise with the red-hot start he's had, obviously, this year with the 9 goals so far for the Vancouver Canucks to this point of the season. So those are some props I'm interested in here for this one. Perlo, what are you thinking here with Vancouver, Nashville?
This is another hang the head spot. Vancouver, the last loss, they looked really down, and I don't think they're going to get up for this game very much at all. Like you said, I don't like taking Nashville as a favorite either, but I do like taking them in the first period. They have been a very good first period team, so I'm going to take them on the puck line at plus 160. I just like that price. At home, Vancouver's a little bit down. It might take them a while to come back. I also like the draw here. I'm not huge on the price, but this reeks of a game where both teams just want to get a point. So I think it could be a tight battle, back and forth in the sense that nobody really does anything, especially coming into the third. So I could see that. I got the draw at plus 310. What I like more than anything here, though, is Evangelista up on the top line. He's good for 3 shots when he's on the top line. His over 1.5 is minus 135. So I really like that shot prop. That's probably my favorite here. Marchessault also playing up higher, 2.5 at minus 132 is a good one. And also Evangelista. One thing that Nashville has been doing not too bad at, and Vancouver's been doing really bad at, is power plays. And I think Vancouver could be chasing a little bit in this game. Evangelista for a power play point, he's had 2 in the last 3 games, is plus 650. So I'm going to put a little bit on that. And whenever I have a tough game like this, and I always have to bet games because it's no fun unless you do, I'll take a little bit of I'll go over to 365 and grab a little parlay. If Vancouver does win, I don't think they're winning puck line by any stretch. It'll keep it close. So I'm going to take the Predators plus 1.5, under 7.5. I don't think there's enough goals in this game to get to that. And Evangelista over 1.5 shots of plus 175. Oh, Sherwood for a goal, of course, just because.
Sherwood for a goal. Yeah, I agree with that. That you got to, he's going to cool off eventually, but as Rich H points out in the chat, he's also a former Predator. So yeah. I think he's going to be excited to play his old team. So to combine that with the red hot start, and a goal prop bet with Kiefer Sherwood does make a lot of sense. All right, Edmonton, St. Louis. Edmonton minus 135, road favorite, 6 the total in this game. Like I said, no blues for this guy until I see them, stop singing the blues, because that's what they're doing right now with their losses mounting for this St. Louis team. And, again, one thing, though, we have seen from the Blues, and it's been pretty common during these losses, is it's like they get a pretty good, decent start. They get on the board in the opening period. You know what's crazy is they've scored a goal in the first period in 4 straight games, this Blues team, and 5 straight, because in the loss to Detroit 6-4, they were up 2-0 after the first period. So they have gotten on the board early, and then the leads have dissipated. They've gotten worse. The other team gets better, and the confidence starts to wane because, here we go again. We had a nice first period. We got a goal or 2. We have the lead, and that's what happens when you're lacking confidence. When you see the lead disappear and the other team gets stronger as the game goes on, your own confidence, struggles quite a bit. So I definitely like St. Louis goal in the first period. I'm going to look at that at minus 120 or better in game. I've been hammering that. That's the one thing that's been good. That's the one bet pro St. Louis that's been cashing lately, is the Blues scoring in the first period. So I'm going to take that here in this. And Pickard's in net. Pickard has not been good other than his first start against Vancouver. He's really struggled since then, giving up 4 or 5 goals in the other starts that he's played. So I will look for a reasonable St. Louis goal in the first period bet at minus 120 better. I definitely like first period over here in this game, Oilers and Blues. I like the over by Fecta, but I definitely like the first period element of that better, because St. Louis, Columbus, I feel this could be like that, where we get the goals early and then maybe it slows down just a little bit as the game goes on, and we end up getting, 3-2, 4-2, something like that in the end. But I like the first period over. First period, both teams to score. I'm going to get in on that too, which I did in the St. Louis Columbus game on Saturday. Both teams found the back of the net. So over trifecta is what it's going to be. But again, we're going to push more of the amount toward the first period over, first period, both teams to score, and the first period, St. Louis getting on the board more than the full game over for this one with Oilers and Blues. And again, like I said, since Pickard's first start of the year against Vancouver, the last few times we've seen him since that point, it hasn't been pretty. 4 goals allowed to New Jersey in a loss, They beat Montreal, but he gave up 5 goals in that game in the 6-5 win, and then the 4 goals allowed to Vancouver in an overtime loss the last time we saw him. So I think the Blues can score, and I certainly think Edmonton, can score against a Blues team not keeping the puck out right now. Alex, what do you think here, Edmonton, St. Louis?
Yeah, I grabbed first period over last night. I actually got a minus $1.20. There were 20s and 25s available now. The cheapest price is still $1.30 at Caesars. Anything past 135, I would say wait a couple minutes and grab a better price adjusted in game. But like I said, 120 was my target range price. So that would be what I shoot for in game. Would be minus 120 or better. I also like St. Louis to score the first goal in the first period plus 140. Like I said, you could also do like Ian's doing, wait for that live as well. I'm going to just play that pregame so I can focus more on trying to grab the best of that number with the first period total.
It's a great option, and Alex has recommended that type of bet often at FanDuel. That's first goal, first period.
BetMGM has it as well too. So
yeah, BetMGM, FanDuel, check that out. Yeah, that makes sense. And the thing too about the Blues losing constantly, and why have they been scoring early in games despite losing? It's because with every loss, they come into the next game thinking we got to start fast, we got to start strong, because we got to try to get out of this funk we're in. And that's probably why they have these decent starts where they get on the board early. What do you think here, Perlo? Oilers, Blues?
Yeah, it's I'm in line, but I've got a little more to go with that with the first period plays. But first, I'll get into the side. Edmonton has Dallas tomorrow. I've been fading Edmonton on the road, and I'm going to keep on fading Edmonton on the road. I haven't bet St. Louis in this. I kind of felt that they were going to start off a little slow, but to me, this is a smash spot. I think St. Louis wins here. This is the spot they're going to win. I'll quickly tell you why. Binnington should be in net. Binnington is a big game goalie. This is a big game now for him. This is something he wants to beat this Edmonton team. This is a game that I think Binnington's going to play well. And if Binnington plays well, St. Louis plays well. And if St. Louis plays well, the Edmonton is exposed on the road with their poor depth. That being said, I still think that McDavid and Draisaitl will do their thing a little bit against St. Louis as well, because St. Louis's defense isn't that great. But I love the first goal play, first goal, first period. But does this not sound like a Perlo special to you? The Oilers will probably for sure score in the second period. And one of the big reasons why they'll score in the second period is because they are a huge second period over team. Massive. I put it in the chat yesterday about the second period over. I can't remember who they were playing, and they went way over it. So I've got 2 bets that way here. I got Blues score goal first period, the Perlo special where Edmonton scores. You can get that at plus 110. But even better than that, I got Blues first period and over 1.5 second period. I got that on FanDuel at plus 135. I'm going to play both of those. I got Blues ML at plus 120. And I also went on the draw here at plus 340. Edmonton, the St. Louis, like you said, has a tendency to let teams back in late. They've been getting up and letting teams get back in late. Also, if it is close to being a draw in the second period, I know the Oilers will probably play for it. They'll be happy to get a point when they're playing Dallas tomorrow. But the reason why they're playing Dallas tomorrow, this is a look-ahead spot for sure. 2 big wins at home. They struggled on the road. This is a look-ahead spot. So with the Blues being in a funk right now, I could see just both of them getting a point. Put a little bit on the over 6 here. I think McDavid and Draisaitl will get theirs, and the Blues will go. I got lots of props on this, but you got to get going soon. So get over to Perlo's NHL POW. I'll post my props up there for this game. There's quite a few, so I won't go through all of them right now.
Yeah, no. I'm good. As like I said, we're keeping a brisk pace, but I don't need to fly through this show.
Well, I'll give you a couple.
The NBA people have to wait for me. I'm not.
Snuggerud over 1.5 shots. That's minus 146. He's been going over that every game. Buchnevich over 1.5 shots is good. Don't put too much on it though, because Thomas is going to be back today, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's huge. Yes, I
didn't mention that. That's another reason why I like St. Louis.
Massive. Yeah.
Buchnevich has a tendency to pass off more when he's there. I like him when he's not in. I've been betting him. But now that he's in, I'm going to lighten it up a bit. But he's been going it over quite a bit. Kyrie's been going over 2.5 at minus 110 a lot. And I really, really like Falk over 1.5 shots. He's been going over that every game. And since St. Louis is going to be probably struggling down low against the Oilers defense, and since they've been having trouble scoring, even though they've been shooting a lot, I think they're going to go back to the defense and you put Schnuggerud and everybody in front of the net and try to get greasy ones. That's what happens when things aren't going your way. They've been doing that. Falk's been going over 1.5, and you can get that at plus 108. So Wallman assist. He's been getting assists like crazy. Roslovich over 1.5 shots has been a money play in the last little while too.
Yeah, no doubt. So, like I said, something to keep an eye on there. All right. And like I said, Robert Thomas being back not a moment too soon for this St. Louis Blues team tonight. All right, our final game of the night, Chicago and Seattle. We've got Seattle minus 160, home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. I keep forgetting who the Seattle backup to John Forsland is, because John Forsland's working the prime game, Pittsburgh-Toronto, so he's not doing this game. But either way, Seattle minus 160's home favorite, 5.5. I'm definitely not laying this with Seattle. But, with Soderblom in net, not Spencer Knight, I'm not jumping at the chance to take Chicago. And for Seattle, you had that first 2 wins of the season very early on, and it started to give everyone, got everyone pretty excited. But suddenly now you're a team that's entering this game just 3-6 in your last 9 games. So, it's definitely been a bit of a struggle of late for the Seattle Kraken. You can say Chicago 3-4 in their last 7 games, but again, look at all these losses. Shootout loss to Vancouver, but they were right there. LA 3-1 loss at home, but it was an empty net goal that put it away. They were right there. Winnipeg was the one game where, they deserved to lose. They didn't play great. Edmonton, though, they were right there. Shots were 30-29. They lose in overtime, 3-2 to the Oilers. So again, this team continues to play very, very competitive hockey. I lean to them at the plus price. Another thing, too, that I might do, too, is bet them live if they fall behind as well. That's a possibility here in this game. Might just try to wait for maybe a Seattle, because I could see Seattle scoring first. Seattle's really going to try to, as this homestand rolls along here. I don't think they have many games left now, this homestand, before they go back on the road. I'm looking at, they have San Jose, and then they go on the road again, Seattle after that. So they are really going to want to, come out here and establish home ice and get back on track here after dropping 2 games in a row, albeit they got a loser point in both games. They still lost each of their last 2 games in overtime to the Rangers and the Habs. Like I said, Soderblom in net for the Blackhawks, Joey Decord for the Seattle Kraken. We'll see how this one plays out here, but Soderblom was actually pretty solid last time we saw him, which was that LA game. He only gave up 2 goals. And of course, the third goal was an empty net goal, but there is, a difference right now between him and Spencer Knight in between the pipes for the Chicago Blackhawks. This one I like first period over. Both teams off losses. Both teams, I think, chomping at the bit to get things rolling. And this is another one where 5.5, too, with juice at many books. There's 6 inside some books, 5.5 at others. So shop around if you like the full game over. This is a bifecta for me, but again, it's skewed more toward the first period over, which I like more than the full game here in this one. Alex, what do you think? Chicago, Seattle?
Yeah, I like Seattle to start early. I grabbed this last night. I got plus $1.10 with first goal and first period. My bargain bin also comes from this game. And for Chicago, I'm looking at Andre Burakovsky, of course, going back to Seattle. I grabbed him to get a point. I got plus $1.05 anytime point. You can get plus 112 now at FanDuel. I saw a plus 110 floating around as well. And I also like him to get a goal anytime. That's I got plus 340, but I've seen as high as plus 370. So Burakovsky goal, Burakovsky point, Seattle to get the first goal of the first period at plus 110, and then my bargain bin coming from the Kraken, not the Hawks tonight.
There you go. Good stuff there indeed. How about another I like that one. I like Burakovsky for sure. That one. That's a good one. 2 games in a row with a goal back to Seattle. Don't forget the other Blackhawk going back to Seattle, Donato's Pizza. Ryan Donato. I like him as well as far as finding the back of the net here tonight for the Blackhawks. Nazar's always a chance, of course. I'm going to step back from taking Ryan Green again. We'll let him maybe get on the board first before we take Ryan Green again. And then for Seattle, Brandon Montour from the blue line is dented the twine in back-to-back games for the Seattle Kraken. Chandler Stevenson, who can be streaky. I don't mind him. And it looks like after, starting on the third line, Lane Lambert experimented with moving Capo Caco to the top 2 lines. He played on the second line for a bit and actually played on the top line for a bit against the Rangers the other night with Beniers and Eberle. So if Caco gets that kind of spotlight again, his goal prop might be worth a look tonight for Seattle as well. Perlo, what do you think here? Blackhawks, Kraken.
I like this draw a lot. Plus 340. If you look at Seattle's been playing to the draw this whole time. It seems like a bit of a flat spot for the Blackhawks, but I think they'll be able to play them hard today as well. Seattle's just playing to the draw. Seems like every game they're playing they want every point they can get, and they fight you hard. So I like the draw plus 340. I liked it against the Rangers, and I like it here as well. I got a little bit on the over 5.5 here. I think it's going to be like a 3-3, something like that. If not, it's going to be 2-2. But if I'm wrong about the draw, I can see with Soderblom in net this being 4-2 Seattle. So I think the Blackhawks on the road, their defense is a little bit susceptible, but I really like their offense against the Seattle team. So I got a little bit on over 5.5. I also have that Montour. Montour's been playing absolutely fantastic. I am 17-4, I believe, in premium plays in the last 4 days for shot props. So I've been flying right now. Go to Perlo's NHL POW, and because I like Montour for a goal here again, I also like him over his shots. He's been shooting like crazy. I don't know if he's playing to get traded or if he's playing what it is, but he is on fire right now. He looks amazing. He looks maybe as the best I've seen him, even back in his Florida days. Berkeley Catton, I'm not going to take him for a goal. I'm going to take him for an assist. I've been watching him. He's a great playmaker. He's not much of a shot, but an excellent playmaker. You can get that at plus 270. He's had 2 in the last 3. And Schwartz as well for an assist. He's been getting up plus 190, I think is a really good play. One thing I really like here, though, is Nazar over 1.5 shots and Schwartz over 1.5 shots. Plus 105. I don't think either one of them have got under those shots in the last 10 games. So I can see if I think there's going to be lots of shots going back and forth in this game, both of them should hit that. No problems. I also did a little short on a big parlay that everybody loves that you can check out if you check out my channel.
Stuff. All right, Chicago. Yeah, I don't mind Tolvanen either if he moves up the lineup. But now he hasn't scored, I believe, yet this year. Let me double check. Yeah, he has not scored a goal this year, but that's my one hang up on betting him to score a goal. But he is going to move up the lineup, which means there's probably some value for sure. All right, there you have it. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. As we always say, Mondays we're on a little bit later, but as they say, better late than never. When it comes to the Ice Guys show, and appreciate all you guys joining us. Hit the like button. Check out wizardsportspicks.com. Great roster of handicappers. I'm there. Alex is there. Matt Robinson's there. Of course, Matt will be on the show with us tomorrow for his Tuesday appearance. So make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Single game premium picks and combo packages available as well. It's been a great run on the site. What are we at now? Let me see if I can get the numbers up here. 27-15. Or 25-16 NFL and college run, 33-21 all sports runs. So it's been really good. Wizardsportspicks.com. Check it out. And check out patreon.com/iceguys. Just $10 per month. I mean, what a response in the month of October, but keep it up. For those of you that have not signed up yet as a Patreon member, what are you waiting for? The daily card is posted each day. Sides, totals, player props every day on the Patreon page. Goalie charts, totals charts. We will have an announcement this week of our first Patreon exclusive live betcast of the season, which will come your way later in November and will only be available to Patreon members. So again, make sure you check that out and get on board if you haven't already. And again, your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping us going long term. So make sure you check it out and get on board. Just $10 per month. Patreon.com/iceguys.
And remember, for that Patreon betcast, we won't be announcing that or talking about that on the show. We will announce that the day of on Patreon. Patreon members will be the first to know before we start talking about it on Twitter leading up to that evening. So that's why it pays to be a member for sure.
It's going to be a surprise. Yep.
Yeah. We're just gonna pop up and be on for about an hour or two and join you guys. But also check out the store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. There's a couple orders that came in and saved 20% off over the weekend. That deal is unfortunately done. We will have more deals though throughout the month of November. We've got caps, we've got t-shirts, we've got hoodies. It's getting cool outside. We've got some jackets there as well. This is now the great time to check out some of the new items and some of the old classics we have over at the Ice Guys store. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Great stuff. Check out all the great gear and merch at the store. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night from this 4-game Monday night slate. Alex, what do you like for bargain bin special?
Yes, head out to the Pacific Northwest. You got the Blackhawks taking on the Seattle Kraken. And I said we'd like the Kraken to get on the board first. I think it's going to be Mr. Matty Beniers who gets that goal. I'm going to split this up. I'm going to have two things. I'm going to have first goal of the game at 17-1, and I'm going to have first goal for the Kraken, a.k.a. first home team goal. You can get that plus 850. Matty Beniers to get things started in that Hawks-Kraken game tonight. That is my Monday bargain bin special.
There you go. Matty Beniers for Seattle. And, of course, a successful season would be contingent. A large part of it would be contingent upon him having a good season and Alex liking him to get on the board tonight. All right, Perlo, bargain bin special.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Burakovsky there in Chicago to score a goal against his old team, plus 360. I got another one, too, because it is a bargain bet. I'm going to take the draw in that game also at plus 360. So both of those would be my bargain bin special.
All right, Andre Burakovsky, goal, and the draw as well. So 2 bargain bin specials for Perlo. A bargain bin special, look, I'm going to jump on the same one as Perlo. I like it. Burakovsky for the Chicago Blackhawks against his old team. So, and again, a very good price that you can get for him to find the back of the net for the Chicago Blackhawks here in this game, plus 380, I believe it is. So really good price there as far as that's concerned. And again, back-to-back games with a goal as well for Andre Burakovsky as well. So again, plus 375 is what we are looking at here for him to find the back of the net. So there you go, Burakovsky plus 375 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Monday. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Yeah, let's go to that Oilers-Blues game. Like I said, it's still a decent number at minus 30 floating around on that over 1.5. So that's going to be the play there. Oilers-Blues first period over 1.5 goals, minus 130. It's my Monday best bet.
All right, Perlo, best bet.
I'm going to go with the shot prop. I'm going to take Evangelista over 1.5 shots at minus 135 for my best bet today.
Good stuff. And best bet for me, let's go to Chicago-Seattle. A first period over best bet. Chicago-Seattle over 1.5, minus 120. I think both teams come out, losses in their last game, strong early in the game. So Chicago-Seattle over 1.5, first period, minus 120 for my best bet. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And back to a longer show and a bigger card tomorrow on Tuesday. So make sure you join us for that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday at noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast and check it out all on the major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Back tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.